What is up, guys? Welcome to a new episode of DMac Pods. Today, I have my good friend Owen Crombie,
Howdy.
and we're going to be talking about a lot of things today. So it's Halloween weekend. Happy Halloween. I am a life insurance agent, and Owen Crombie is DMac Pods for Halloween right now.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. I spent last night as the Tooth Fairy. Had a pretty good time.
Yeah, that's awesome. So tell me about last night.
Yeah, last night. Where do I even start? I mean, no, I'm kidding. It wasn't anything crazy, but I found a relatively inexpensive as far as Halloween costumes go. We could talk about that too. They've started price gouging in the Halloween industry. I've noticed like a good costume's gonna run you somewhere 40 to 60 bucks nowadays.
My roommate spent $100 on a costume.
See, that is outrageous.
Did you see his? Did you see his? It was Caden's. The gold man costume.
I did not see that now.
That was last weekend he wore it. It was like a suit, but it was gold and gold pants and a gold hat and gold glasses, and then on the inside of the suit was like fake $100 bills. It was hilarious. Have you ever seen Aldo on TikTok?
I've heard of Aldo. I don't really watch him now.
It was something he would wear. I
Okay.
mean, if you don't know him, you wouldn't know. But the TikTok's hilarious. He actually did a fashion show and he did it in it. I might have to put it up on here. It was hilarious. Um. Anyway, so back to the tooth fairy. So, how many teeth did you collect?
So, unfortunately, no teeth, but I did have a lot of people just ask me for money. They were just like, "Hey, you think you can leave a dollar under my pillow?" And I was like, "Do you have teeth? Did you lose a tooth or something?" He's like, "No, I have a molar that's loose." I'm like, "If it's not out, I can't help you, buddy. Like, it's not how these things work. We have rules, we have regulations, you know."
We're not a charity around here.
No, the Tooth Fairy, we're not fucking UNICEF. Like, we're not. I can't just give you a dollar. Like, you gotta. I need them teeth, boy. You know.
Yeah. You know, it was very spooky.
What would that be?
A&M football last week. The defense.
Oh,
Let's talk about that. So, what was it? 38-23. A&M beats LSU. Dog walks them. Stomps them.
yeah.
I thought we were gonna lose. I'm not gonna lie.
I
It
mean,
was kind of scary. What, 17-7 at half? I was nervous. I was like, oh, this is not good.
yeah. No, the first half of that game was, I mean, downright ugly, horrendous, tough to watch. If you're an Aggie football fan, Connor Wegman went out there and just looked like he had zero juice. Just to start the game, first pass overthrows a slant, high and behind his man, and from that point immediately, I knew it wasn't going to be his night.
It was what? Like, he was four for 18.
I don't know if it was that bad, but it wasn't.
I
His
think
stats pretty much matched how we felt about him as his night came to an end. I know that.
it was between four to 6 for 18. Like, it was below 33. It was 33% or lower. I was like, what? And then Marcel came in. Marcel
did.
Magic, Money Marcel came in, scored 3 tutties. Dude, that might have been the most beautiful ball for the Aggies this year. That one to Noah Thomas over the top.
Yeah, yeah, it was.
That was a perfectly placed, and then Noah catches it and then gets body slammed.
Yeah, that was he got planted, but not before that catch. And I mean, it was good to see Marcel be able to put some air under it, maybe get a little bit of confidence to him, not just with the run game where he obviously is very competent and very confident, but able to put a little air out under the ball and let his guy go get it, and he put it right on the money. It was beautiful, but yeah, I've been watching some film on him too, and
Really?
from high school when he was at I think it was Montgomery Bell Academy in Nashville, and he's been balling since high school, man. I mean, obviously his bread and butter is the read option. he can run a phenomenal RPO offense, but his bread and butter is the read option, and he can pull it so late. I mean, you saw it in the LSU game.
Oh yeah,
He'd stick the ball.
he held that. He did a very good read on that first touchdown
Mhm.
because he like almost like went with the running back at first and then went left. And when we scored in one play, like with Marcel, I said, "You can't take him out."
No.
Like at that point, I knew it was done. And then our defense, I think our defense won us that game for sure. As good as Marcel played, I think our defense got us back because the defense is what changed that momentum. That pick, like I think it was a 3rd and long anyway, so it wasn't that big. But the pick got the stadium just erupted, dude. And I was like, oh, this might be it.
Yeah, I mean, Kyle Field was rocking all night. Even when we were down by 10, they were loud. But I don't think I've heard it louder than after that first BJ Mays interception along the sideline. I mean, Nussmeier threw up such an ill-advised ball.
Oh, he was rolling left off the back foot, shoulders turned. I was like, oh, that is a horrible throw.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to give credit where credit is due because Nussmeier is one hell of a quarterback. He can throw the ball. He's a very competent passer. He had a really, really off night, especially in that second half. But, that's all that is to say is that's just a paper. That's just a paper look at him. He's obviously a great quarterback, but he's a great quarterback who came in and ended up losing the game for them through, honestly, just some poor decision-making. And he's somebody I'd say doesn't get rattled in big games, but instead he gets overconfident. And that there right there was a testament to that, where he just saw his man. And it looked almost as if BJ Mays was trying to bait him into throwing that because he was about 5 yards off the man. He threw that ball up and just went and got it himself and then ran it back another 20 yards to set us up in 1st and goal.
Yeah. I feel like, I don't know, I feel like when I was watching the point of view, like behind Nussmeier, it looked like BJ Mays was on the guy.
Yeah. Like
2 feet away, and Nussmeier's like, all right, I'm going to trust my receiver. Made the wrong call, obviously.
Yeah.
Don't bet against the A&M defense. I'll say that. We got dogs. Will Lee.
You can't bet against a Mike Elko coach defense.
Oh, no, not at all. I feel like if we lose every other game, I mean, except if we lose to New Mexico, that's a different story. But let's say we drop South Carolina, Auburn, and Texas.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Mike Elko's already proved everything that he needs to. You know what I mean? First year, new coaching staff. Like last year we had the most transfers going out, most transfers coming in, right? I mean, I don't think we're going to lose to South Carolina or Auburn. South Carolina's going to be tough.
South Carolina.
I'm stressed.
South Carolina, I think, is the ultimate litmus test for whether we've fully exercised our Jimbo demons at this point. Because that is a game that 10 games out of 10, Jimbo will go into Columbia and lose.
Really?
I feel pretty strongly about that.
Wasn't he like 4-1 against them?
It's not against that team. It's playing in a hostile environment in a night game, fresh off of a big home win. You're back on the road. And not only that, you're on the road against a team that is notorious for sticking in games they have no business in winning. And they came very close against LSU. They came very close against Alabama. They've been giving people really, really tough times at their crib all season long, and the cockpit will be rocking tomorrow night.
They say Cocktober.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's. I guess Cocktober's over now, but
it is over. But I think the coach is notoriously known for getting like his big wins in November.
Oh yeah,
I don't know.
Beamer ball is a very, very special type of a game where any and all hopes of playing in the postseason are gone before September's over. Yet they always stick around and just play a spoiler to somebody. It seems like.
Yeah. What are they right now? 4-3.
That sounds right. Yeah.
I think they should be 5-2. They could be 6-1.
They very easily should have. They should have won that game against LSU. They
lost. The pick six.
They lost by a missed field goal at the end of the game.
Well, no, not only that, but they had a pick six got called back because one of the
They
guys
did.
did a block in the back, which was like a 50-50 call.
They did. That was another one of those games where I think, truthfully, Nussmeier just did not look his best.
Yeah. See, the thing I'm worried about, like, so, see, the South Carolina game is going to be tough because I think they have a top, like, they might have the best defense in the SEC.
They easily have a top 3 defense in the SEC. I will
top
agree
3
with that. Yeah. I mean, the conversation for that is it's us, it's them, it's Georgia, it's Texas. That I mean,
What's the kid's name? Dylan. You know what I'm talking about?
where from?
He's a 5-star. He's on South Carolina. He's like their huge. I think he's a right end or a left end. He's a edge rusher, but he's like the guy to watch out for.
Yes. I can't remember his name, but yeah, and I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I think his matchup is going to be Armage for the game, Reed Adams.
I hope so.
I hope so
Armage
too.
is a dog.
Armage has been playing out of his mind all season, but if I remember where he lines up correctly, that would make sense as the matchup. But I also know that Beamer loves to move him around, and his defense is far different from Mike Elko's in the sense of the packages they run and how it's run. But in essence, it's very similar how he loves to switch up looks and throw completely different looks at you every play and just confuse the crap out of the O-line. That's his thing. And as good as our O-line's been playing all year, they're one that is still relatively young and can definitely get confused in moments and blow up some plays.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be something to see. I've been a Marcel Reed fan since last year.
Yeah.
When they put in Jalen Henderson, I thought they're gonna put in Marcel Reed because I remember last year I was huge on like seeing what recruits we got and something. And I remember seeing we got a QB named Mr. Tennessee. And then when we put in Jalen Henderson, which Jalen didn't even do bad. I actually liked when he played.
I was really impressed by the way he carried himself and kept this team in a lot of games last season when after we lost 2 QBs already in the season.
Yeah.
We should not have had QB play at the level that it was, I'd say, going into the last few weeks of the season. And shout out to Jalen Henderson because
shout out Jalen.
he absolutely balled.
He did. You know,
for what was especially for what was expected of him in the hand that he was dealt. Like he didn't cry, he didn't turn around, tuck and run. He just did his thing.
Yeah, shout out him. But I remember when we put him in, I was surprised Marcel didn't go in, right?
Yeah.
And then when we saw Marcel in the Oklahoma State game, he actually did really good passing that game.
Yeah.
He ran. I mean, he had a rushing touchdown, but other than that, like it was all passing and stuff. And
it was something obscene. He had like 200-300 yards passing.
Yeah, exactly. And so for me, the reason I'm bringing up Marcel Reed now is I think this is the big test of the year to see going forward if he can like not just be like a runner, but like a good thrower, a great thrower. Because we've seen flashes, but I mean, like a lot of people argue, Connor has better reads and ball placement.
I mean, he has outside of the Missouri game, all that is on paper because that has not been shown in a game this season. I mean, his ball placement has been inconsistent at best, and I know we've seen him when he's at his peak. When he's at his peak, man, can that dude sling it.
Dude.
Wegman's an animal when he's at his peak, but when he's not playing at his best, man, I mean, as much as I love the guy and I want to root for him, I mean, he's just a offensive liability when he's not locked in.
Yeah, it's I feel bad because it's like I feel like I don't know. I had doubts last year, like right before he got injured. I had doubts but I'll say one of the first games I ever saw Wegman go in was that legendary LSU game 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
That was perhaps. I don't know. I feel like I like this LSU game more, but that was the one I rushed the field.
Was that when Moose had that one-handed catch? Was that game?
That's my favorite catch of all time.
Yeah.
Favorite catch, favorite celebration of all time. Moose reels it in one hand on two defenders. He it was like the most nonchalant, like sick touchdown I think I've ever seen in my life. He catches it one hand, like walks it in. Well, he was already in the end zone, but like as soon as he caught it, it was like walking, and then he goes, and like the whole stands are cheering, and he's just like so calm, like he wasn't even hype about it or anything. It was just like and to me that was like I was like that might be one of the greatest sellies I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Because for like how like I think that was the touchdown to put us up, right? This was
I vaguely remember this game. I was watching it on TV on my buddy's couch. Like I wasn't at this game.
dude. I was the crazy thing about the Moose catch. So my grandpa, he was a professor here, so he has like season tickets, like
Okay.
teachers section.
Mhm.
I was in the corner section where Moose caught it.
Oh.
So I saw the front view like of him. Like it was surreal. Absolutely surreal watching that. You know? Like not trying to go on a 10-minute glaze here of Moose Muhammad, but it's just like my favorite catch of all time. I'll watch it once a year. You know what I mean?
I'm here for it. Moose supremacy, man. I mean,
What happened to him?
He's the one receiver on this team that is shown so many flashes of being able to be just a next level elite playmaker, yet from everything I've been hearing, he just doesn't care.
Really?
He doesn't care. Like he doesn't from what I've heard, I don't know the level of validity to this. I mean, I am not someone who works with the football team. I'm not someone who has crazy insider knowledge, but I mean, obviously A&M is a university, and there are students who do work for that football team, and word travels.
Yeah.
And what I've heard from that traveling word through the grapevine, so take it with a grain of salt, is that he gives 50, 60% at most in practice on the daily. He's been having some character issues with stuff like kind of getting arguments with coaches, other players. You know, he gets heated in practice. I think he definitely has that competitive edge, but the problem is it's not always being channeled properly, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I also have heard that when he's not been playing his best and, you know, giving 100% and gets called out on it, he's been kind of lashing out and then complaining about not getting play time. And I mean, man, you hate to see it because it's sort of like a paradoxical thing here. It's, you know,
Yeah.
you don't work hard, you're not going to get play time, and then you slack off because you're pissed off about not getting play time. That's going to just keep inflicting
Spiraling.
you. And that's when he first came onto the scene here and really, really showed his stuff, I was excited to see, you know, him make a run for the league. Like,
Yeah, I thought he could make it. Like he's had some very good games.
he has the raw talent to be successful with some development and with some hard work and effort, but like the problem is the hard work and effort just doesn't seem to be there.
Yeah, that's a shame.
I mean, even in games when he does get put in for his limited play time, if it's a run play, you'll hardly see that man block. He'll just like stand right up and just walk off out from the line of scrimmage.
Yeah. Speaking about wide receivers, free Jade.
Free Jade, man.
That was legal. That was a legal hit.
I'll say this is someone who maybe knows a little too much about football rules and like might be my like autistic hyperfixation, we'll see. But Jade being called originally for a blindside block, that's complete horseshit. That's complete horseshit. You were able to see in the replay the LSU linebacker fully turn his head, see him for at least a second before he gets lit up. The definition of the blindside block rule, illegal blindside block, what makes it an illegal blindside block is it's coming in off of your blindside. You don't see him, period.
Well, they didn't get him for blindside.
That's what they originally flagged him for, and then they got him for targeting.
I don't think it was targeted because he led with his shoulder.
The thing was,
That was a nasty hit, though.
it was a sick hit. The one problem that had with the play that made it feel a little too much like targeting is he made direct contact to his head. And his head didn't just kind of go back. Like, you see his head on immediate contact just go. And that, even if it's not leading with the crown of the helmet, they see those plays, they want to get you out of there. They want to throw a flag there because that's one of those plays that can get really, really dangerous if it becomes normalized.
Yeah.
That's a player safety thing. As much as it sucks, I think that was the right thing to do there. I hate that we're going to be without Jade for the first half of South Carolina. I think there's certainly plenty of workarounds with it. I mean, we have guys who can ball. We have Jabri Barber, Cyrus Allen. We have Moose.
Those are
if he's
two big
willing to work.
transfers.
Huge transfers. Obviously, we still have Noah Thomas. We are not super deep at the receiver position, but we're also not like weak.
We got Moose.
You know, I'd love to see a Moose legacy game in the cockpit, but yeah, that Jade call was really tough. But with that being said, it is a hell of a lot better still than the NFL and their ticky-tacky refereeing.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
The NFL has just become listening to I feel like watching a football game, an NFL football game, is just listening to referees talk nowadays.
Dude, there's so many ads too. Like NFL to me is like, I mean, I liked it. It was cool, but like, I just can't get fired up for it as much as college football.
No, me neither. I was watching Thursday Night Football last night, actually. It was a fun game. I mean, it was awful.
It was boring. It was boring. And then it turned fun.
The reason I say it turned fun, how about that Garrett Wilson catch?
Oh, the Air Jordan catch.
I was about to say the same thing.
Dude, I saw that and I was like, bro, just hit the Air Jordan. Like, that might be better than actually, I don't know. That Odell.
I think as far as recency bias goes, like, I was watching that with my friends and we were all kind of freaking out and we were like, that might be better than Odell. Now that it's been a day, I've had some sleep since. I don't know if it was better than Odell's catch, but at the end of the day, like, it doesn't even matter because that was awesome. But let's also talk about the ruling on that being a caught ball. He got his shin down before his knee touched out of bounds. However, Pickens got screwed over with a very similar call last week that ended up going the other way.
Yeah, I don't know. That was a hard call. I honestly think they gave him the call because of the catch. Like, I feel like the NFL made a call and they're like, this if this counts as a catch, this generates money. It was a business decision. I feel like that call was a business decision more than it was like a fairness decision.
I think it was absolutely a business decision. Like, when you have plays like that, I mean, they only come once every so often, if that's an incomplete pass, you can't then go and market it.
Yeah, exactly.
So then everybody's gonna go see the clip of Garrett Wilson on a pass that didn't count in, you know, all your ads and your marketing, and they're gonna be like, wait a second, no, that was an incomplete pass. Why are you airing that? And the NFL still would do some sorry stuff like that.
Yeah,
but
I don't know. I think it was definitely a primetime game. I think they got a call from the higher up. I personally think it was like a business decision. Like, you got to let it stand, you know. Yeah. Like, because I've never heard of the shin thing. I don't know if it's real or not. I've never heard of you can only have like 1 foot in if your shin's down.
So are you suggesting that you think Goodell was meddling in that official review?
Maybe not him. Maybe, but I think someone in the higher ups made a call.
Okay.
Because it took him a fat minute to like confirm or deny that call. Like, we had like 2 commercial breaks, bro.
That is true.
They were mulling that over, taking the sweet. Like, it only takes 1 replay to see that the shin's down.
You know? Yeah. I think 80% of that timeout was not questioning whether or not the shin's down. It was them talking about what the heck are the rules on this and where is it possible for his shin to be down without his knee also being down. Is that considered part of the same limb? Is that considered 2 separate parts of the body in this instance?
Yeah.
Because in the Pickens catch, it was ruled that they were the same. Now, granted, the Pickens catch was nothing compared to this Garrett Wilson catch.
Pickens had an insane catch last year. I feel like, dude, Pickens has some of the best catches. There was one, he was like, I forgot, was he diving or something last year? It was he had some crazy catches last year.
Yeah, he's an animal. He's a scary dude to face on a football field, man.
I was yesterday, like before the Texans Jets game started, the Jets won, right? I went to bed early.
The Jets ended up winning that game, yeah.
Dude, I honestly think I told my roommate, I said Jets are gonna win, and it's gonna be partially because of Vegas. I swear, every time when the underdog, like the person like on paper who looks like they should lose, and then they're favored, they always win. Do you know what I mean? Like if a rank, like in college football, like A&M versus LSU, right? We were favored although we were a lower rank. So a lot of the money went to LSU because it's like, holy cow, they're the underdog, but they're like a better team according to see it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and last night, 2-6 Jets favored over 6-2 Texans, right? You'd be dumb not to take the Texans underdog. You know what I mean? Good young team, 6-2. But every time that the team who's worse, but they're somehow favored, they always win.
Yeah. I guess I have one issue with your theory.
Okay.
That being that the same thing happened against Notre Dame here to start the season. We were favored by 3 points, I believe, when it closed. Against Notre Dame, ranked, 8, 9 in the country, so maybe 7.
Well, for as bad of an offensive performance as we had, that was a pretty close game.
I'll give you that. I mean, that was probably one of the best defenses in the nation that we faced. And knowing what we do know now, I can't help but look back at that game and think, like, man.
You think we win with Marcel?
I don't think we win. I still don't think we win, but I think it's like within a field goal. I think it would have been a much closer game. I think because Notre Dame's defense is just far better than LSU's. And that's not to say LSU's is bad at all, but LSU's defense is one that's kind of been gradually getting better as the season's gone on. Notre Dame's defense just came out firing. Just they've been great from the start, minus that one little fluke game to NIU, and they only had 14 points scored on them too. It wasn't like defense was at fault for that game. I mean, that was a complete offensive collapse. Riley Leonard did nothing to win that one. But I can't help but think, knowing what we know now and having seen what happens when you insert a new QB into a game where the defense is completely unprepared for them, the things that can happen.
Yeah.
And I think Notre Dame being a far more disciplined defense and being a just better defense than LSU, I think they would have been able to make proper adjustments and contain him after maybe one drive, maybe a series, call a timeout, draw up some new stuff. But, I mean, LSU, man, they let it happen, and they made zero adjustments.
Here's another reason I'm worried. From what I'm hearing, it sounds like South Carolina has a better defense than Notre Dame, which no one expected at the beginning of the season. But, I'm pretty sure South Carolina's, top 10 in almost every, major important statistic when it comes to defense. I'm worried. But then again, on the flip side, all of the important stats for offense, South Carolina's 100 ranked. That's kind of crazy.
Well, I mean, yeah, as much as I want to root for the guy, Lenore Sellers has not been lighting up the scoreboard this year.
But he's scary. Dude, he's a running QB. I looked him up, running QB, 6'2", 242. 242. If a 242-pound guy is running the ball like that,
yeah,
I'd be a little worried.
I think what gives me a little more confidence with this one is the fact that we faced running QBs before And generally, we handled it pretty well. Specifically referencing Green in the Arkansas game,
Yeah.
we were able to dang near completely erase him and write him off as a non-threat very early in that game. You know, we were able to contain him because of
Is
guys
Green
like
big?
he's bigger. He's not as heavy, but he's tall.
Yeah.
But he's able to move. He's able to move, and we've seen other games where he can just fly if you let him get free. But the thing is, we had great containment from guys like Scorton, Turner, Stewart.
Arkansas is a good team this year.
Arkansas is sneaky. I wouldn't call them good. I would definitely not call them good, but I would say it's weird. It's really, really weird because I thought this year's college football race would be one like past few years, minus the 12-team playoff, obviously, which adds a lot more intrigue into the conversation. But I thought it would be a lot more similar to last year, whereas like there are your really, really good teams, and then your good teams, decent teams, your bad teams, and they're pretty clearly separated. You know who's who. Originally, I was going to just say that for the SEC, but as the seasons got on, it's just for everyone. There seems to be damn near no fine line, if any, between like the good teams, the good teams, and the decent teams. They're all kind of getting jumbled up, and they're all losing to each other.
Yeah.
I mean, the only unbeatens left that really strike me as anyone worth a damn, that's Indiana, that's Penn State. Ohio State lost the game, didn't they?
They might have. Has Oregon lost?
Oregon is still undefeated. Yes, because Oregon beat Ohio State.
Yeah.
That's their loss.
See, I think Penn's fraudulent.
I
think Penn
State's
State's fraudulent.
I think Indiana's the real deal too. I'll go one step further. I like Indiana a lot and what's going on over there.
They're doing good, but who's like what good
Miami,
teams have
by
they
the way?
played?
Miami, fraudulent.
Oh yeah, Miami's fraud, dude. That Boston game should have never been a comeback.
That Louisville game, they let Louisville climb right back into that game. They were up 17-0 in like the first quarter.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not like. I hope we play like a Miami. I hope we play a Penn. If we make the playoff, I hope we play a Penn State. I hope we play a Miami.
If we make the playoff, there is only one team we will face, and I think you and I both know who that is as much as we hate to say it.
Who?
Texas.
Nah. Okay.
The committee is absolutely going to throw the house on trying to have an A&M Texas rematch. It doesn't matter who wins the first round.
The thing is,
all that matters is if we both make it, they will throw the house on seeding us accordingly, because it's all, and I mean it is all about ratings.
I know, but the thing is, like, the reason I don't see that happening is because, so let's say we play Texas last game of the year, right? And somehow both us and Texas end up in the SEC Conference Championship. I don't see us playing 3 games back to back to back. You know, like, I feel like it would be exhausted at that point.
Well, I think the most likely matchup right now would be winner of Texas A&M versus A&M. It's winner of Longhorns versus Aggies versus Georgia, assuming they win out. Georgia has the tiebreaker over Texas, though. So if we win that game, we have the head-to-head. We're over Texas. Actually, we don't even need the head-to-head because we'd be assuming we win out other games. We run the table up until then. That puts us over Texas because we already have a better record in SEC play than them.
So wait, real question. So let's say we win every other game but Texas. Do we make it to the championship still, or is that like?
That would set up a really, really messy tiebreaker situation where I believe the 2 teams that would be in would be Georgia, and then assuming if Texas wins against us, I think it would be Georgia, Texas.
You think Georgia, Texas?
I don't remember. I don't fully remember the playoff. It's either Georgia, Texas, or Georgia, LSU would be that outcome.
Nah, I think LSU is gonna drop another.
I don't I guess their remaining schedule is not the easiest. I mean, they got Alabama, but they got Alabama at home. I think that's a winnable game for them.
It's winnable, but that doesn't mean they're gonna win. I hope not, because I honestly, dude,
I
first year,
I want LSU to win out. I want LSU to look phenomenal from here on out. I want everyone that we've beaten up on to look phenomenal from here on out. Now, Missouri, that's a lost cause. They are terrible. They could win out the rest of the season. They could be a 10-win, 2-loss team. But my goodness, if they ever touch the rankings again.
aren't they ranked still? They're 25, I thought.
They shouldn't be.
They should not be.
I think they've all but proven up to this point that they are hot stinking garbage.
Yeah, they're pretty bad.
I mean, they have none of the juice that they had last year. It's all gone. It's all gone. They figured them out. They're one-dimensional.
Yeah.
It's if you can't get Luther Burden involved in the game, then they're dead in the water. And Brady Cook is not the Brady Cook that we knew last year either.
Not at all. All I need is a video. So someone get a video of Quinn Ewers. If you go to UT, please record Quinn Ewers saying Kyle Fields not loud. That's
all we need.
That's all we need. If we get that, that's like, I feel like that's a secured win. Do you think?
I feel like Quinn Ewers being the absolute tool that he is, I feel like he's going to make a comment, if not exactly that, similar enough to that, I mean, at this point, it's their own damn fault because these SEC quarterbacks just keep giving us bulletin board material. And it's not like we need it, but damn, is it helpful.
Dude, bulletin board material. You remember when it turned out the Missouri coach is the one that put the blanket in
I knew that. I knew that from the start. Eli Drinkowitz is a freaking weirdo, man.
That's
Have you heard he had a comment talking about Brady Cook and Luther Burden? He was like, yeah, they're
with his daughter?
He was like, yeah, they're great guys. I'd love for either of them to be dating my daughter. Bear in mind when he made this comment, I think his daughter was like 16, 17. I mean, Drinkowitz,
he's just a weird guy.
Such a weirdo. He's such a weirdo.
I don't know how Missouri was actually good last year.
I think a lot of it had to do with their OC just calling phenomenal games. Speaking of OC, I don't think we haven't covered that. Let's go back to Aggie football.
Colin Klein?
Dude, Dog was in his bag during the LSU game. And he was in his bag before Wegman went out. The plays weren't executed, but he was in his bag. I went back through and watched like an hour of just gameplay of that game and just watched the Skycam footage. They have that up on YouTube right now from that game. And so you see every route being run, everything. I just kind of sat there and watched not because I wanted to relive it, because I was like curious what went wrong with Wegman. I kind of wanted to go look. And he was missing reads. Because Wegman had dialed up, not Wegman, Klein. Klein had dialed up some phenomenal plays. He missed he would go first read, check down almost every time. Sometimes he'd get to his second read, but almost every time he'd go check down. And it doesn't show me like he played a bad game or anything. Well, he did play bad, but it doesn't show me like all that screams to me is that he's uncomfortable. He had no confidence.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know what's going to get that back for him, but he had no confidence. He was missing reads and immediately automatically checking down, regardless of how good of a throw that would have been or how big of a play it would have been. I mean, but first off, when you make the right read and you throw it, you got to put it on the money. Like I said, you can't miss a slant. You can't miss a slant 4 feet over the dude's head and 2 yards behind him.
Yeah. Do you think I think Marcel starts this week. I think it'd be hard not to.
I think you start Marcel. I say this not because he's ever done anything wrong or because he's he's, not ready. I fully believe in him, but I say you start Marcel and you keep him on a very short leash.
Yeah, I'd say that too.
But you don't ever tell him that.
Yeah,
You start him and you say, you're our guy, we're going with you. And you give him all of that confidence to just have that in his head and go and roll. And you don't tell anybody, too. If the media finds out, you hold that starting decision, whoever it is, close to your chest if you're Mike Elko.
Yeah.
Because your job as defensive coordinator now just got so much harder not having to game plan for just one quarterback, but for two completely different quarterbacks.
Yeah.
I mean, their play styles are far from identical.
I mean, I think we've actually done a really good job of that, but I don't know how well a two QB system would do, because it's like,
Yeah.
it takes the whole game to build momentum for some of these guys. You like if it's like switching drives, I don't feel like a QB can really get hot that way.
It's difficult for sure. I think it especially gets a lot harder when you think about it in the sense that running a 2 QB system essentially means you have no starting QBs. If you have 2 starting QBs, you have no starting QBs. You've ever heard that saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that makes it really hard because it affects their confidence for both guys. I mean, instead of just choosing one and saying we're going to roll with you, you have 2 guys out here now that still feel like they're battling and that still feel like, man, I don't fully have this team. And, I think it all comes down to how Elko and Klein and company are able to manage that, mitigate any potential conflict, but also how they're able to deliver what they're trying to deliver as far as, to communicate that to them and say, like, either we're going with a 2 QB system and you guys are going to be splitting time, or maybe Reed's the guy, we still believe in Wegman. Regardless of what decision they make, that is yet to be seen. Probably won't be released publicly until about 20 minutes before kickoff tomorrow.
Yeah.
But I think regardless, we've seen enough coaching moves now from both Elko and Klein where I'm pretty comfortable in just fully trusting their decision and not questioning it too much. Because I think after seeing that LSU game, I think now looking back, and I know that
100% trust.
He not only 100% trust, I know that if something does not go wrong, there is a fail-safe. There is a backup plan. He is not going in here with just one plan, and if it goes to shit, we're done.
Yeah. Did you see the Elko halftime speech? They released it.
I have not actually, no.
Yeah, I think Aggie Football posted it on Instagram. It's pretty good. I was like, he was pumped. Like it didn't look like a Jimbo like Elko was like you could see his face get red. He's like, we gotta get out there, we gotta execute. How much work y'all put in? He's like, but it was like passionate. I was like, I haven't seen that in a long time.
Good. We need fire on this team. We need fire within this program. That's what we've needed. I mean, all we've had for so long are like these wax figures, it seems like.
Well, Elko said it in the press conference. I don't know if he was calling anyone out, but he's like, I'm not a politician.
Not a politician.
Do you think he was taking shots?
He came out publicly after and said it had nothing to do with Jimbo Fisher or Kevin Sumlin. I don't buy that. I don't buy that for a second. I think he was very, very specifically talking about guys like Jimbo Fisher. Maybe he wasn't specifically talking about him, but guys like him.
Yeah. That would make a lot of sense. And then we landed 2 recruits next day.
3 4-stars.
3 4-stars. Well, I checked 2. They were self-claimed 5 stars, but when I went on the actual, it was 4 stars.
I believe 2 of them
from the same school.
It's a receiver and a tackle from Douglas.
Yes,
and from Douglasville, Georgia.
Yeah, same school. I was like, what?
Yeah.
You think they like talk to each other and like, let's go to A&M?
Bro, they were
probably
they were at that game together. They definitely, I can almost guarantee you, they heard They just saw like what that stadium looks like in the fourth quarter, and they turned to each other and said, "Yeah, this is it. This
Well,
is it. This is the one."
See, the thing is, I think this signature win over LSU is going to do numbers for recruiting because
Yeah.
you're down 17-7 at half. There's question marks all around your team and how you are coach and whatnot, right? This is the best year Aggies have had in a while. And so what do? You turn it around. You make the necessary changes and you win the game. Like, if that doesn't show good coaching, I don't know what does. And I think this is like turning a lot of heads. First year, you don't even have your players. Like, these aren't, I mean, he recruited some of the guys, right? Not all of them. Some of them, right? Some of the team is transfers that you brought in. Some of them are players you recruited when you were defensive coordinator at A&M. But for the most part, it's guys that you've never even talked to.
Yeah.
And to come in, make the necessary changes to the culture and whatnot, do that, right? And then turn it around how he did. And then in that defining game, to turn around the game, I think is like if I was like a dad or something and my kid's like looking at schools and I watch that game, I'm like, I want my kid to play for Elko.
Oh,
He knows how to coach damn well.
I think it also helps. You see Elko, you see that far, you see not only is he a passionate coach, but I don't think there's anyone coaching right now that has the ball knowledge that he does. I think recruiting just got that much more contested now that Saban's out of the game too.
That is true.
And I think we made the right hire at the right time for us to be able to get hot and not have to worry about Alabama coming in and trying to recruit our territory. I mean, they're trying, but I'm going to be honest. Kalen DeBoer is maybe starting to look like not the guy we thought he was.
I don't think I saw a skit of like Saban calling DeBoer after losing to Vandy. That was hilarious.
I mean, yeah, I know he is a hell of a coach. I mean, he's shown
what he did at Washington was really good.
Not only what he did at Washington, I think his all-time head coaching record was like 108-5.
I did not know that.
You don't get there by mistake. Yeah. You don't end up there by mistake. I'm just curious to see if maybe it's something culturally that hasn't been working at Alabama. Well, no, we've seen that. It is exactly. There is a problem with team culture right now. That is a big issue at Alabama. It feels very similar to a Jimbo Fisher coach team over there, with the way they've just departed from the, I'll say, conduct and expectations that came with the Saban era there. A lot of them are gone.
Yeah. Dude, it's I kind of lost my train of thought there for a second. I had something to say about this. I had something to say. I mean, oh yeah, it's just the shoes are too big to fill. The Saban shoes are way too big to fill. I don't think any I don't even.
There is not one coach in college or pro football, for that matter, that can come in and fill Saban's shoes and be as successful, especially not in year one. But I also say that to say that Kalen DeBoer has yet to have his own recruiting class outside of the transfer portal window, and he still is working with 80-90% Saban guys. And I'm really interested to see what that does to the team, if that is going to end up being that decline that some people are saying they expect with Bama to kind of fall back down to earth and become, have their ups and downs like the rest of the SEC, or if DeBoer bringing in a team of his guys in 3-4 years and it's just all his guys, if that might be the turnaround and he's able to work with players of, the skill sets that he's specifically looking for.
Yeah, that could be. I feel like with Saban leaving, I feel like that just opened up I feel like the year we're having right now is not only the 12-team playoff, but I think Saban leaving. You know what I mean? When Saban was there, it was always like, oh, he's around the top. In his last couple of years, he was waning and people are questioning, oh, does he still have it in him or whatnot? But when he left, it was like it's just up for grabs. Everything's like the whole SEC flipped. Like these bad teams aren't even that bad anymore. They're like putting up fights, and you're like, what? You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, yeah. The SEC is so wide open. And to know that we control our own destiny in a wide open SEC is the coolest thing ever. Because
I'm here for it.
As an Aggie, I've never felt that. I don't know what that feeling is.
Dude, this year, this football season has been so good. Like it's
all around.
It's great for the soul. It's great for the soul because I remember coming in my freshman year, I was told, "Oh my gosh, we're gonna be ranked 3 coming in." Then we lose to Appalachian State, and then from there, everything went downhill, right? And now just to see us sitting at the top of the SEC, so who thought? Who would have thought?
Who would have thought? Who was that first game we played?
We shouldn't be here.
That year. Was that Clemson? Was that a win over Clemson prior to App State? Who was that?
No, it was. I think it was good. I think it might have been like a decent team.
Miami?
I think it was Miami.
Did we beat them? I thought we lost to Miami when we did our home and home both times.
Miami was last year too, right?
Yeah.
Van Dyke.
Yes.
Was his name?
Yeah. He ended up transferring.
I know.
Wisconsin, I believe.
Yeah, Wisconsin.
And then he got hurt again.
I don't remember who we played before. Was it it had to be out of conference.
It was a non-conference game. I don't remember who though.
Do you think it was a
I don't think it's that important at this point.
I mean, Fisher era, I don't even want to revisit that. But anyways, all right, I want to kind of move into something else, but to wrap up this long college football segment.
Yeah.
Score prediction
for Saturday, for tomorrow.
Yep. 6:30 A&M, South Carolina.
Okay. I haven't even really given this one any thought. So I'm going to go ahead and say I think it's going to be a hard to watch game. I think it is going to be ugly. I think it is going to be disappointing at times. I think it's going to test each and every single Aggie's patience and mental strength. I am predicting that right now. I think the Aggies are going to pull out a win. I think it's going to be an ugly win. Give me a final score. Give me 16-13 us. Doesn't that just hurt you to hear?
That is crazy.
That's what my gut feeling is telling me. I think it's two stout defenses coming to a head. I think it's one slightly better offense versus one not very good offense. I don't say that to say like our offense is bad, but there are still a lot of question marks and a lot of kinks to be worked out. And this is not a game where you work out kinks. This is a game where you either have an answer or you don't.
Yeah. My prediction is a whole lot different, and I'll tell you why. I got Aggies 27-17.
I would love that.
I got him beating the spread. Honestly, I could even go 34-17. I think so. Okay, hear me out here for a second. So everyone who's reporting on this game and talking about it are saying it's going to be a dogfight, this, that. I think a lot of people are underrating the Aggies and what Colin Klein can do. I think, the guy's name I think is Dylan Stewart. Is that it?
Yes.
Dylan Stewart. Yeah, that's the dog. So, I mean, he's someone we need to watch out for. But the thing is, with Colin Klein's offense, with all the motions he does, it's so unpredictable, and there's always like 2-3 options at once, right? Yeah. You can think RPOs, you can think read options, right? And the way I see it is, okay, their defense can bite and they can get us sometimes. But on the ones where they bite for the decoy or something, is where it could we could just get an explosive playoff. And we saw that against LSU, right?
Yeah.
And I think with a defense this good, the way to beat them is to just have them guessing all the time, right? If you give them two doors, there's a 50% chance that they're wrong, you know?
Yeah, obviously.
And I think Marcel comes out. I think he proves a lot of people wrong with his throwing game. I think he has a hell of a throwing game. I think South Carolina's preparing too much for the run, and Marcel Reed does good throwing. I mean, I might be totally off here, but every time I've been overly optimistic for an Aggies win, we've won by a good margin. I remember the Missouri State one. Everyone just said it was going to be a dogfight. I had us winning, I think, by 17 or something.
Well, I think a big difference of that game was also that Missouri was fraudulent from the start, and we were their first game in SEC play, or second game in SEC play, and we knew they were just not it. South Carolina scares me a lot more.
That's true.
And with the added fact of I would love to finally see some confidence in our passing game and for it to work and explode. But here's the thing. They're playing run. They're going to be playing run first.
Oh, for sure.
And that South Carolina front is good. Really good. And if they are successful at taking away the run and they force us to go to the air, that is what leads to us being unsuccessful, especially on the offense.
I mean, we'll see. We'll see. I'm already nervous, dude.
Yeah.
I feel, but every game, I remember Florida game, I was nervous. I feel like this might just be another Florida game. Because Florida, we had question marks going into Florida. People were like, "Oh, can we even beat them in the swamp?" And we dog walked them. I mean, the score looks a lot closer than it actually was. We dominated all four quarters on both sides of the ball.
He just got a couple touchdowns in garbage time, but yeah, I think South Carolina is a far better team than Florida, even though their records might be close to the same at this point.
The thing is, I think it balances out. South Carolina's offense is, I think, the worst in the SEC.
But every time they have these big games, they somehow are able to play up and get points on the board.
But they never pull it off. That's true. I guess you might be right about it coming down to the wire.
They're able to put points on the board when it matters, and that's what scares me. That combined with the fact that they have a scoring defense. They can score on defense. If you make a mistake, it is going to be capitalized upon, and you're going to regret it. And what scares me the most, more than anything else, is say we do start Reed. Like we were talking about, how late he is on his read option and pulling that ball. All it takes is one fumble.
That's
and
true.
I don't want to play devil's advocate here. I still got the Ags winning. That is a game we should win. That is a game we can win. I wouldn't say surprised if we lost, but I would say that it is a game that we both can and should win. But, however, all it takes is one turnover, and that team is smelling blood in the water.
Dude, I'm actually I'm genuinely scared, dude, because I feel like if we lose here, it could be like we have so much momentum. I feel knowing Elko's coaching, maybe it's just a bump in the road, but at the end of the day, I feel like losing here could be just a huge down in the dump morale drop on all the players, and I feel that I feel like if we win here, our chances at beating Texas are so much better. But I feel like if we lose here, Texas is going to be a much tougher game.
Honestly, with this game, I'm not even so worried about South Carolina beating us themselves. I'm worried about us beating ourselves. That's what worries me, because we're going on the road.
Yeah.
To a night game, hostile environment, like I've been saying all this whole show. And then against a good defense, who we've shown that we struggle sometimes against really good defenses. And then on top of that, we're fresh off of a huge win. We got to get that out of our heads. The media has been swarming us all week. You turn on ESPN, it's A&M. They're talking about A&M every 20, 30 minutes on any college football show nowadays, which I hate. I hate that. I preferred when we were anonymous, because when we were anonymous, it's a lot easier to block out the noise.
Yeah, I mean,
Now that you're in that national spotlight, not only do you have all these people who think you're frauds watching you and you want to prove them wrong week after week, and you get those wins. You get that statement win against LSU, and people are still out here saying, "Oh, A&M's not the real deal." They're just not it. They're gonna.
I think it's all gonna come down. I mean, the week's already gone, but it all comes down to Elko. You know, I feel like he's got like a good like y'all don't listen. Y'all don't listen to nothing they say. We're on to the next game. I think he like tossed LSU and all. I think he's like, okay, we won, but we got to worry about like, because in all his press conferences, he's like, we got to watch out. Like, this isn't a trap game. This is a game.
Oh yeah,
Auburn's a trap. This isn't a trap game. This is like a
Jordan Hare at night. That's a trap game. I'm not scared about that Auburn team, but man, am I scared about that stadium. Jordan Hare is a freaking electric stadium, man.
We'll see.
Very underrated.
We'll see. I think
very underrated place to play.
I think we beat. Honestly, I'm not worried about the Auburn game.
You should walk them.
They do not have a QB. It reminds me of the Broncos during COVID year when they had to like get that free agent wide receiver guy. You remember that from the practice team to come play QB? That's like the situation in Auburn right now. I'm not worried. Peyton Thorne
is hot garbage.
They don't have anyone else.
He threw 3 pick sixes to Cal. University of California, Berkeley.
Yeah.
Golden Bears. And they lit that team up.
Yeah, I'm not worried about Auburn, but this South Carolina game it's going to be something stressful.
Yeah, yeah. It's going to be I'm really worried it's going to be a tough watch, and not because of what South Carolina's doing to us, but for what we might do to us. I have full faith in Elko. I love what he's done for the program thus far. I think this is, like I said earlier, the ultimate litmus test for whether we've fully exercised our Jimbo demons. Because if we still had Jimbo demons remaining in this program, they will show. And they will show by guys getting in their heads and beating themselves in a tough away place, a tough away stadium, in a night game, on prime time, and you're thinking about the game that you won last week, and you're still celebrating. You half-assed in practice this week, and you just kind of slacked off because you're like still celebrating that win. If it's truly Elko's team now, and we are fully moved on from that era, it means we locked in at practice. No one was going out after Saturday night. You were in your dorm, 10 p.m. lights off. You're waking up bright and early for practice the next morning. I'm really, really intrigued to see which version we're gonna get, and if we're gonna fully prove that we've moved past that.
I don't know. I feel like Elko would have let them celebrate Saturday night.
No, yeah,
but
I'm saying after Saturday night. Though.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's done.
Yeah. After that, because I know no guys can be out Thursdays. No guys can be out Fridays. Like that, and that was different because Fisher's like, yeah.
And with Jimbo, it was. I think Jimbo's whole policy with that, it was originally intended to kind of support like personal integrity and responsibility and be like, I'm not going to regulate you guys. You go, you do what you want, but just make sure you play worth a damn when that time comes around. And they did. But when you allow guys to do that sort of thing, their talents are not going to be maximized. That's the part of coaching where you have to coach and you have to be the bad guy and you have to be a leader. You have to stand up and say things that they probably don't want to hear sometimes.
Yeah.
But that's, I think, what separates guys like Elko from guys like Jimbo. And like you said, politicians, where they'll say one thing and do something completely different behind closed doors. I mean, he tried to talk to us and tell us as Aggies that he was running a tight ship and he was trying his best with the program. He didn't give a damn. He just wanted his payday.
He did not care. Dude, he like disappeared off the face of the earth. You don't hear nothing, no press conference. He ain't going no ESPN. That boy's in the Bahamas, living on his.
Well, yeah.
Living
If you
on.
got if you got $70 million for being terrible at your job, how would you feel about? Imagine this: you work in an office. You are probably in the bottom 15% of that office. And so eventually the office decides, after, consistent being in like the bottom half, and you keep every year, at the end of every year, like, oh, but we'll be better next. I'll be better next year. I'm going to perform better. And then you don't perform better. You actually perform worse. And each year it just gets a little worse and a little worse. And then you're like, okay, well, I got this brand new computer that has a full automated software. Like, it can do anything for me. I just tell it what to do, and it's just all bots. And it's like, I need my work done. Run this bot. I need this done. Run this bot. It'll make it streamlined. It's the best software in the nation for any office. It's going to fix it. And then on the first day you try to use it, it crashes. And it deletes everything off of your computer. Monitor catches on fire. The office burns down. And then they go, okay, here's a $70 million severance package. Get out. You're fired, but here's $70 million.
I wouldn't complain. I would be gone.
That's exactly what that felt like, though. That is exactly what that felt like, with that number one class coming in and everybody like, oh, A&M's finally going to be for real. And then half of them just didn't even play football.
Well, the thing about that number one class that a lot of people don't talk about,
They were all overinflated.
Well, not only that, but those were like the recruits that like Georgia and Bama were like staying away from.
Yes.
Like those were the kids with question marks. So the 5 stars we were getting were the ones that a lot of other schools didn't even try to recruit, really.
They were 5 stars that other schools weren't trying to recruit because they were, most of them, known for having character issues.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that Jimbo was notorious for, not only not caring about, but not even trying to regulate and, discipline. I mean, there was no discipline with his program. With his regime, there was zero discipline.
Yeah. That's true. All right. Well, anyways, we kind of went 10 minutes over our wrapping up segment.
Woof.
But I want to talk a little about music because Chromacopia came out this past week.
It's getting sticky.
I really like the album. It gets a lot of mixed reviews. A lot of people either hate it or love it. I liked it. I thought it was good.
I thought it was a good album. There were a couple real like bangers on. I'm way too close to this mic. There were a couple like bangers on there. Some things that kind of had me dancing. And there were some other things that like just had me like listening and just intently and sitting and thinking about it. It was a good like kind of duality of man moment there.
What were your top 3 songs? And if you need to pull up the track list, you can. But
probably I liked Sticky. You give me Glorilla on a song, cool. You give me Sexy Red on a song with Glorilla, okay, you got my attention now. Then you put Wayne on that song too, and Tyler's the main. Bro, stop it. Bro, stop it.
That was, I liked it. I mean, it wasn't in my top 3, but it was a good song. Glorilla was my favorite part. I'm not gonna lie.
My one complaint: why is Wayne's verse only 8 bars? Give that man more time. I don't care if it's a 6-minute song. When you have features like that, it can be. It can be a 6-minute song. But yeah, Sticky's probably my number 1. I give it to Balloon.
Balloon. That one's good.
I like the Doechii verse on it. I like the song. Almost anthemic kind of beat to it. It's nice. I liked it. Last place going to be a tie. It's a toss up between. It depends how I'm feeling on the day. It's got to be between Darling I or
That's a good one.
or Hey Jane.
Hey, both of those are good. I like that one. I'd say for me, I mean I have my top 3, but I honestly like depending on the day is what or honestly tomorrow I think might be my number 1.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Like I'm like tomorrow and like him, both of those, like, I like, because, like, if you listen to the lyrics, you're like, whoa, you know?
Yeah.
Like, he's actually, like, storytelling and stuff. And then,
That's why I love Hey Jane.
yeah.
Same reason.
Hey, James, yeah, that one's a story. That's why I like the album, but a lot of people are like, oh, it's mid. I'm like, you're not, like, you're hearing it. You're not listening, though.
You're out here looking for another, another one of your Glorilla albums. You're out here looking for definitely not a Kendrick album. You're out here looking for a Drake album. You're looking for something that you can.
Nah, Drake's got lyrics.
No, Drake's got lyrics, but I'm saying
like
it's a different type of music. You're looking for something that you can kind of play at parties, that you can play in the club, that you can just kind of have in the background and turn up to, but you're not really listening.
Yeah.
I'd argue this is the kind of music where, sort of like Mr. Morale, on a similar vein. I'd say is a similar on a similar wavelength. Very different album, but on a similar wavelength to Mr. Morale by Kendrick. It kind of is a very, very, like, trying to think of a good word here to describe it, but it's a very, very
personal,
vulnerable.
Yeah.
It's a very vulnerable album, and I think it's the first time that Tyler, he's known for having super creative artistic directions, but it's the first time he's ever truly, like, talked about so much about himself and his life and his own, like,
dude, that
struggles.
The end of, like, him broke me.
Yeah.
When his mom was talking,
mm-hmm.
Cause she's like, I didn't want to tell you, and that's on me. And I was like, damn. I was like, oh, that, that's gotta hurt. Like, you growing up your whole life, right? Not thinking, that, like, cause the song was about his dad, right? He didn't think his dad wanted to be in his life. Yeah. And then his mom tells him at what, like 30 or something, like
way late.
Like he actually wanted to be there, but it was me. I didn't want him around, and it's like, oh, you know what I mean? That kind of broke me. But and then my third song, because I don't want to get sad here. My third song, Saint Chroma.
Yeah,
dude, give Saint Chroma 2 to 3 years. I think it could be the greatest college football walkout song. I think it could be the greatest college football workout song. Walkout. And there's a reason. So like at the beginning, when it's like how it starts off, like Chromacopia or whatever, and then they start marching and he's like whispering.
Yeah.
Like imagine you're an away team, you're in the stadium, and then it's like, because I was imagining this, I was like, holy cow, like everyone's like stomping on the stands to the beat of it, right? And then he's like whispering, right? And like when he's whispering, it's like, it sounds like, when he's whispering, it sounds like I want to run through a brick wall when I hear that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he sounds like he wants to take someone's head off. You know what I mean? And then and like, so imagine like the whole stands, like just everyone's stomping, right? And it's like to the beat of the march. And then you're like the away team, you're in there. And then when it's like, do you feel the light? Do you feel the fire? Everyone sings that, right? And like the bass hasn't dropped, so the team's still in the thing, right? I was like, damn, I'd be intimidated if I was the other team. Like, imagine all the people in the stands like, do you feel the light? Do you feel the fire? And then the bass drops. The bass drops. The nuke sirens go off, because I think he used like the sirens, and then the team runs out. That would be, and then the verse that follows was really good. And I was thinking, this could be the college football walkout song. Like, it's like
cool.
It's like a power on steroids, in my opinion. But it needs time to age.
I don't know if I envision it in the same way. I see what you're putting out here. I see what you're.
It would take everyone in the stadium to pull it off.
It's not something. Yeah, it's not something I envisioned when I first heard it. But I like the track. I like the tune a lot.
I think like that one gets me like hype. Like
it gets me hype too. I think why I didn't mention it in my top 3 for this album, because I love the track, love the song. But why I didn't mention it in my top 3, I feel like the whole overarching theme of this album is like maturing, getting
Yeah.
older, losing people you love, things changing about your life. You no longer have that sort of like
I mean, that's why it's the intro. He just
yeah.
he had to throw in a hype song somewhere, throw it in the
Because you
intro
no longer have that like sort of wonder
theme.
and innocence that you had as a kid, and
Yeah.
I think a lot of it is talking about how he's grown up and realized like the world can be dark, and
Yeah.
there is fear, there is hurt out in the world, and I think he's a really really vulnerable like art form, what he used and the way he went about unpacking that.
Yeah. Well, we mentioned Drake earlier,
Yeah.
and it's October's over,
Mm.
and he still hasn't dropped,
Mm.
and he's supposed to drop this year.
Mm.
So I'm getting a little worried because it's like October's very own, but no drop in October. Is he going for a November? He might be going for a November album, might be going for a December album, but we know that him and P&D are dropping this year, or they're supposed to. I'm getting a little worried though. We got 2 months to go. Got me stressing.
You know,
I need the Drake album before Christmas.
the album coming soon thing, naming of dates, and then it just never comes out. It's reminding me a lot of someone else right before they entered their full villain arch.
Kanye?
Oh
You
Before
think
Kanye-
you
before
think Drake's
Kanye-
gonna you think Drake's entering a villain arc?
I think Drake's been in a villain arc for years,
Yeah.
just in a different way. Like Drake's against. I don't even know at this point. He was against Kendrick for a while. He was a villain there, but I don't know. All I know is Kanye's for some reason against the Jews, and that was an interesting person to be the villain against. I think that's been tried before. It didn't really work out well the first time.
I think he's turning things around though.
Trying to.
Dude, have you seen the pictures of him?
He
He's back to the goatee.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw he also divorced his second wife since Kim.
Possibly.
I
Oh,
think it
I
was
didn't
the
know. I
second
didn't know
one.
they divorced. Did they?
Quite recently, yeah.
Really? Oh, wow.
Yeah, because it was the Julie Fox and then the other one whose name is hard to pronounce, who's some
Bianca
something, yeah, some Italian supermodel who literally is just a copy and paste Kim K.
Yeah, but dude, I feel like he might be getting things together though. You know, he doesn't have the whole beard anymore. Have you heard some of the leaks?
Nope. I don't
dude.
listen. I try not to listen. So guys like him, for guys like Drake, for guys like Tyler, I try to avoid any and all leaks until the album comes out, and then I'll go search them up after because I love to see what it like the OG version, what these demos sounded like. I love that, but like before the album comes out, never.
Dude, I don't know. I'm kind of excited. I'm hoping for a Kanye redemption arc, Kanye comeback. Because I heard one of the leaks, I was like, whoa. I was bumping to it. I was like, and it felt like old Kanye, you know?
Like, are you talking about? Is this Vultures 3 that you're talking about, or?
No, it was it's the one that they're all getting together in Japan for.
I've been out of the loop on that, but Vultures 2.
I forgot what the name of it's gonna be, but it's not another Vultures. It's like a whole new.
Vultures. Both Vultures albums were just mid.
I didn't care for them.
They're like
I like Donda.
A
A lot of people didn't like. I like Donda.
I was okay with Donda. I was actually really okay with Donda. I didn't love the direction he decided to go in, where he's like, he had like ditched the whole Christian thing and was like, I'm just making an album, I'm making art. And then last second decided, no, I actually want to stick with the Christian thing. And then went and made the whole album clean, and that's the only version you can hear unless you go listen to the leaks. Not to say that it ruins the music or it's like has a lack of depth because it's a clean album, but it's like you couldn't have your features re-recorded when you decided to do that. So now instead of having a normal feature, it's just like anytime after a Kanye verse, if someone curses, it's just like cut out of their feature, and it sounds like I'm listening to a clean version of a track, but I don't have an option to listen to anything else. And that was the one thing about Donda that rubbed me the wrong way. But I loved Donda for a lot of things, for a lot of reasons about, what it was. It was pleasing.
Yeah, I liked it. Dude, Donda, actually Drake released the song, but Drake released probably one of the greatest songs of all time, and it wasn't by Drake.
Lift Yourself.
Life of the Party.
Uh,
Do you know that song?
yeah.
Andre 3, dude. I feel like Kanye. I feel like Kanye ruined that song, man. Cause Andre 3000 laid down perhaps one of the greatest verses of all time. Like it was, oh, dude, that's a sad song. And then the second, huh?
Sorry, I don't think we talk about Andre 3000 enough in like the greats conversation either.
Oh yeah,
He's so up there.
yeah, he's so underrated. But he stopped making music, and then he came out for Donda for the song that didn't get released at first.
Yeah.
Drake leaked it on OVO radio, and then Kanye's like, all right, I'm throwing it on. But basically, see, I was like mad at Kanye because the song is so beautiful, and then in the second part, it's like him dissing Drake a bit. You know, and I think that's why Drake released it, because it's like, oh, look, it's Kanye dissing me. But what gets overlooked is the Andre 3000 verse. Bro, dude, the first bar could make a man cry.
Dude.
Said, hey, Miss Donda, you run into my mama, please tell her I said say something. I was like, that one could shed a tear, bro. Cause the rest of the verse is like, oh
Yeah, it was deep. It was heavy.
It was real deep.
Heavy.
And then Kanye came on and was like rapping, and I was like, honestly, bro, could have just cut it at the end of the Andre 3. Like, just give his own song, dude. You know.
Yeah.
But I still like the album, you know. But it was kind of weird because that was like in the deluxe. It was one of 2 songs in the deluxe. But
the keyword is gubernatorial for today.
Did I got late to the meeting last time? Did Josh do?
Yeah, Josh did it.
Did he like pause?
I don't remember.
Wait, what'd he say?
He said there was a code word. I just don't remember what he said it was.
I remember me and Goody told him that he had to go up, and he. Oh wait, no. Oh,
sorry,
no.
I didn't mean to throw you off.
No, you're good. No. He's gonna say it this week because he's 1 week behind.
Yeah.
But basically, if you watch the Goody episode, he has to go up and he has to like pause for 10 seconds, and people are gonna be yelling at him, and he's just gonna have to stand there, pause, and then say something.
Yeah.
It's funny.
If you're watching this, the code word is gubernatorial.
Gubernatorial. Do you want him to do a spin or spin while he's saying it? Honestly, I feel like that would be kind of fire.
Yeah, do a little spin.
Yeah, do a little spin while you say it. You can't say it and then you have to spin while saying it.
Yeah, like gubernatorial. Yeah,
exactly.
You got it. Okay.
All right. I think that's a wrapping point right there. Thank you, Owen. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you, Mr. DMac.
A lot of college football and then a little bit of music.
A little bit of music at the end, yeah.
Yeah.
I had a great time.
Yeah, me too. All right, well, that's the end of this episode. Hope y'all enjoyed, and I'll see y'all in the next episode of DMac Pod.